The Mustang Survival Annapolis to Bermuda Ocean Race, one of the longest races of the United States, boasts being 3 races in one. The race down the Chesapeake Bay, the entry into the open Atlantic and the challenges of the notorious Gulf Stream, and the final sprint to Bermuda. It's 753 miles of inshore and offshore sailing, designed to attract serious racers and cruisers alike, with the goal of giving more participants opportunities to prepare, organize, provision, and navigate their vessels in possibly the most extreme conditions. This is the story of the 2022 event, the boats that did it, and the people who sailed them, as seen through the eyes of willing onboard reporters who brought out their cameras to bring the experience back to all of us.
Annapolis to Bermuda is a race that is amateur in nature. We have a great support system through the Annapolis to Bermuda committee, which is mainly housed here at Eastport Yacht Club, where we do everything from our safety and weather and navigation and at-sea training. And we try to make it an opportunity for amateur sailors to participate in a long-distance ocean race.
Welcome to Curie. Curie is a Tartan 4100, and being that I have an offshore capable boat, I thought it would be great to bucket list item to skipper my own boat. Getting a boat like this ready for an offshore race is a rather large endeavor. Probably the biggest thing is the what ifs, and you really have to go there and say what are the worst things that can happen, and checking everything at least twice. You need a lot more spare parts than one would need.
How many times have you been to West Marine?
Today or like this week? I personally have been twice today. Let's see, one of my crew, he's been there at least once, and my mechanic has been there probably at least 3 times.
How many times have you been to West Marine today?
3. He's been there 3. The race gives you a lot of support for that with a lot of the seminars that they have, especially if you're a first-time person, because if you've never done this before, prepping your boat and pulling everything together can be a lot. And I've done it a bunch of times, and I still am constantly learning things.
Once the boats themselves are equipped and the crew's kitted out, preparing food that will be easy to serve and easy to eat and digest, along with the lightest luggage, is the next puzzle to solve.
Bread. All right, it is exactly T-minus 3 days until the start of the Annapolis Bermuda Race 2022. I'm sailing on Team Allegiant. Very excited, but I have a lot to do this week. My first task for tonight is I need to cook one of our meals for the race that we're gonna have as a crew. So what I'm making tonight is I am making a vegan curry. So I have all my ingredients in front of me.
As the day of the race approached, the Eastport Yacht Club brought skippers and crews together to continue the ritual of pouring spirits on the regatta flag, to hoist with a prayer for safe passage, and live music and dancing to send those blessings as high as possible. The following day, the boat parade, a favorite tradition only witnessed every 2 years before this event, took place in the harbor.
And the boat parade is a real neat way for Annapolis to participate with Eastport Yacht Club and the participants in the race, to be able to see not only the great vessels, the crews, but also we get to all, enjoy time with our sponsors and with all of the people that have spent time landside making this a reality for this year. We have Mustang Survival is one of our prime sponsors that has taken really a lead for us in the Annapolis to Bermuda race. They not only sponsor us from the standpoint of advertising and so forth, but also equipment. So you'll see a lot of really good Mustang material out on the race course.
The night before before the start of the race, serious weather was moving in over the Gulf Stream. So regatta officials, with the guidance of weather experts, decided to delay the start of the race by 24 hours.
We're leaving.
When that day came, 26 boats left their moorings and docks to head out to the mouth of the Severn River to start as 7 different classes. The Mustang Survival Annapolis to Bermuda Ocean Race was about to begin this journey to the Royal Hamilton Amateur Dinghy Club on the serene island of Bermuda.
It was a beautiful day to start the race. Super sunny out, and we get from the Severn into the Chesapeake, and you start seeing all these different kinds of sailboats. We've sailed with Navy 44s, and we've seen a couple of the other donated boats that the Academy has. But this was a good look at I didn't even know what kind of boats were out there.
Kyrie, USA 79, ORC2, checking in. Thank you.
So you kind of got to sit there and take it all in for a second. And you're just geared up, you're race ready, and then you get into it. The starting sequence goes, and our skipper just gets in the zone. And you see him go, and the way he's looking around at the course, at the starting line, kind of figuring out where we're gonna go, trying to time it just right. It's just this crazy madness of everybody going left, going right. We gotta duck this guy, are we gonna make it here? You can hear all the cranking and yelling on different boats, and obviously on your boat, but it was crazy to be that close in proximity to other people. When you're tacking and you got the flogging sails before they get over, you're switching the jib, and it was just like, it all became super real.
Big down, right turn.
Time.
We get across the line and everything, once you're across the line, it's almost, you're already on that direction. So everything kind of calms down for a second, you're able to take a breath, and you take it all in, and you're like, all right, we got these guys sailing with us in this direction, those guys decided to go that direction. Our skipper starts to look down the course, and he's looking for good wind, obviously, and I'm sitting there, eyes glued on the main, trying to just really do my part and hone in on everything that I know and that I've practiced and get that main exactly where it needs to be so that we can sail as fast as we can wherever skipper's telling us that we're going to go.
Over 600 boats have crossed the start line and set a course for blue water over the last 43 years. There have been many races down the bay, but even with experience, navigating the Chesapeake and all of its twists, turns, shallows, and shipping traffic kept the fleet on their toes through the first day of sailing.
Ned, can you take the helm? I want to get on the chart plotter and get an ETA to the Gulf Stream and a few things like that.
To the first night of sailing and into day 2 of the race down the bay. Pretty soon, life below decks on board was adapted to, and sunrise watches became the most popular.
It's almost 7 a.m. It's not windy, so we just pull up the spinnaker.
Plus, a new day brings new wind and the need for different cloth.
Forward. Down. Nothing. 1, 2, 1, half.
Video. The bay, we have some wind. Turn this around so you can see. Some boats behind us. We had 3 different starts. We were the 3rd start. We're catching some boats that were ahead of us. Russ is driving. Antiston's taking a rest with the other crew, which is Katie and Sean.
But the Navy has decided, and I think it makes sense, is to not cross the Gulf Stream until daylight on tomorrow morning. So we've got some time to play, and we can do that by sort of jinking a little bit further to the right, like 20, 25 degrees after we exit.
By noon on the second day, the first boats were exiting the bay. Max, the largest boat racing at 50 feet, owned by Moritz Hilf, had a small lead over the first double-handed vessel, Jane says, and Tenacious.
You go across the Atlantic together through the struggles and the challenges that we did, and expecting each other to fill in and perform in the ways that we did, you really get close with each other, bond with each other in ways that no other type of experience can really do for you. Because you have to rely on each other and know that you have your job, they have their job, and the people who are in charge, our skipper who's making our tactical decisions and stuff, are trusting each other and execute, get it done. And in that, you get to see everybody and their skills and the ways that they struggle and grow through that over the 5 days. It was really special. So the food prep on Tenacious was done by one of the other sailors, and we had everything from like chicken wraps, lots of tortillas. It was works a lot better than bread, so we had like peanut butter and jelly tortillas, pre-made chicken wraps. One of our coaches brought chili that we were able to make on board. Navy 44s, they have a stove down below with an oven and everything, so we were able to cook all these kinds of like actually really good heated meals to have in the middle of the race.
Tell us what's going on. About 30 miles out from the Gulf Stream. Right now we're seeing about 6 to 7 foot waves. It's going pretty solid. About 11:30 tonight, so we're gonna hit the Gulf Stream, 3.5 knots northbound, and we'll see how big the waves get.
The Gulf Stream, a river of much warmer water that shifts around in the ocean depending on the time of year, and due to mixing temperatures creates unpredictable weather that sailors have been writing about for millennia. Rookies ask, how will we know when we've gotten to it? The answer? You'll just know.
If you were on deck, it's cool. You're just going down, and if you're like bam, 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 bam. This is really cool. You're just riding the guy, right?
Right. Yeah.
It's like you're inside of a trash can. You roll down the front steps. Totally different experience.
How many steps? Like lots of steps?
You got all night. You got all night.
1,000 steps?
And some were missing. So you don't get used to it.
Yeah. Whenever you're inside, it's just like everything is moving and shaking, and it's so loud, and you're afraid sometimes. If you're going over these steps each time, somebody is beating on a kettle drum, like Tchaikovsky's 1814 Overture. Boom!
No, I was thinking. I was hearing that song. I was thinking if you were videoing it, it would be either 1812 Overture or Ozzy Osbourne. Ozzy Osbourne laid over top of the actual soundtrack, which would be completely unsynchronized in the form.
Yeah. As long as it's unsynchronized,
Totally
it's really bad music.
Då berihivomärken. Ge mig Robert Mukawa. To нічого. Невагомість це також жиється. А ну постав. Круто, навіть не говорю.
I don't even know what to say.
Oh, we call that starboard cat cookies.
Can you tell what's happening here?
The largest boat doing the trip ended up sailing the entire distance unscored because of some mechanical issues that delayed their departure from the bay. The Pride of Baltimore, a new partnership for the Eastport Yacht Club, coming in at 157 feet of sparred length, has sailed almost 200,000 miles and has visited over 200 ports in 40 countries.
Oh yeah. So the reason they're out there right now is because our jib is no longer tied on correctly. Because this is crazy. Well, you'll notice I'm not out there because that's terrifying.
I was out there before in weather just like this, but it was nighttime. Jojo and I went out there as shipmates came back as brothers, maybe more. But these guys have the benefit of daylight.
When you're at sea for up to 5 or 6 days in a row, you're eating, sleeping, changing sails to match the wind conditions in smaller teams than inshore racing, and taking care of the person next to you. This is what builds friendships and lasts a lifetime. This is also when you hope you've got everything on board that you're ever going to need, and that someone on the crew is going to know what to do in every situation that inevitably arrives.
Okay. Status update. Just had to pump a bunch of things and do a bunch of stuff. Sea state's pretty gnarly. I'm not the only one who's down for the count.
Going through so many days of physical activity when you may not be used to that, cloistered quarters with people you're just getting to know, and food that came out of some sort of plastic vat, sleeping wherever, whenever you can, and adopting new routines when old ones fail. Isn't that why we do this? To see a part of the earth not many see?
Oh, how does it look? How does it feel? I mean, what?
After the exit from the chaos of the Gulf Stream, there is downtime.
Straight up glamour shot right here. Yes. Day 4 at sea. Woo.
Jordan is rocking it. Longer, harder, stinkier.
Navigating and staring out onto the horizon for what feels like years until... Are your eyes playing tricks on you? Large mammals, man-o-war jellyfish, flying fish, and the telltale signs of reaching Bermuda eventually do appear.
Land ho!
But we knew we were close. We were nearing the end, and you're in that mode where you're kind of like, wow, we have 750 miles behind us and just 15, 20 miles ahead of us. We're gonna be locked in. Now we got 10 miles left. And we got Jane Says tacking, they're catching up to us, and we're trying to deal with this mess. We're still racing against all these other guys, and we're facing all these different potential threats.
It's Fancy Shirt Friday.
Fancy Shirt Friday.
We're so close to Bermuda now.
As Jane Says, tacked over to our right, and they ended up finding some really good wind, getting ahead of us. They finished just before we did. The sun was starting to go down at that point. I just remember seeing the island get bigger and bigger. And people were yelling land ho, everybody's super excited, like it's right there.
First year, so does that mean that you won the race? Is that correct?
So we ended up coming in just behind them, and we crossed the finish line, make a U-turn, and are able to just kind of like decompress, take a second to breathe.
240.
Step back and look at the island. We just have like a moment where we sit there and we start singing actually the Kokomo song. Aruba, Jamaica, ooh, I wanna take it to Ooh, I wanna take it to Bermuda, mama, come on, pretty mama. And everybody screams Bermuda. We're all super excited to be done. And you get to look at your prize right in front of you and you're like, wow, Bermuda, we made it. And I look around at my new crew and I'm like, this was the coolest, most special and rewarding moments that I've ever felt.
Go in that yard. Check all your buttons. Watch the trail.
though spread out amongst many marinas and yacht clubs. Participants were greeted with dark and stormies on the docks by regatta volunteers and fellow competitors. In some ways, it's a competitive race, and in others, it's a rendezvous. You all know what your team went through to arrive safely, so you instantly share a bond with others, even if you've never met them until the awards, dinners, the parties at the Royal Hamilton Amateur Dinghy Club. The wrinkle-free ties and dresses were sported to toast the occasion.
Ladies and gentlemen, fire in the cannon!
And after boats were cleaned and prepped for their journeys back to the mainland, the regatta headed out to explore the island's many attractions.
Got videos on.
Hello, world!
Living large.
We are in a special place right now.
You are.
Cliff jumping at Admiralty House Park, and caves you can swim into. Golf carts, mopeds, markets. The locals are always ready for the sailors to arrive, and the hospitality never quits. Moritz Hilf's Max, a Pogo 50, was the first boat to the bottom of the Chesapeake and the first boat to arrive in Bermuda.
We had low breeze, we had decent breeze, confused seas, waves we couldn't see at night is always fun to deal with. A lot of great moments to really cover the full spectrum of what you might experience on a distance race.
Jane Says, a J124 in the double-handed division, with Robert Dunnigan Jr. and Dan Lawrence aboard, won the ORC division for the Bay, the Ocean, and overall. Tenacious, a Navy 44 with Meade Tolan as helmsman, and the USNA crew did the same in the Perf division. And in the cruising division, Mark Lister's Winsome Ride also won the Bay, the Ocean, and the division overall. Allegiant, a J42 in the Perf division, and Cimarron, a J110 in the cruising division, teamed up as Harrington Harbor Sailing Association to win the Storm Trysail Club Trophy for winningest club. And Patrick Tiz with his dad John aboard Barebones, a Sunfast 3600 in CRC A at 16 years old, was the Youth Recognition Trophy winner. Congratulations to everyone who completed the race. Preparations for 2024 are already underway, so start entering your boat into distance racing. Start vetting crew and learning the process of having an ocean-ready vessel to take you to these places, to have these experiences that make memories that last a lifetime. For T2P TV, I'm Ashley Love.